Although all barristers are self-employed, chambers are the place that they look first for nurturing and support and encouragement. So when the inevitable stresses of practice are looking overwhelming, the first place that they ought to be able to get support is within their own chambers. There are many ways that the stresses of the work can begin to be shown up in a person's practice. People who are normally good participants in chambers, perhaps feeling a little angry and a little cross about small things. Issues over money, barristers appearing to be a little withdrawn from chambers, perhaps working a great deal at home. Barristers working over late and over the weekend too often. All of these are obvious signs that there are too many stresses going on in their lives. When these signs of stress arise, then I think it's important not to ignore them. You should talk to the senior clerk or the relevant clerk and try and get an idea about the workload that that individual is under. You need to reach out to that individual to give them an opportunity in a very neutral way to come and talk to you. That may mean that you've got to talk to them out of hours, or even just to have a conversation on the phone with them over the weekend to open the communication, the lines of communication in the first place. The kind of support can range over a number of different areas. First of all, it can be just simple advice about managing practice. Sometimes it can be a particular problem, a relationship problem with a solicitor or a roommate or somebody else in chambers or outside chambers. Of course, sometimes when you have these conversations, you do get some pushback. It's quite typical for people who are stressed to want to close down on conversations. I think it's very important as head of chambers to make this kind of conversation as non-threatening as possible. First of all, it's important to create an ethos in chambers that is itself supportive, so that you know from the very beginning of the relationship that as a barrister in chambers, that actually chambers is on your side. But then you can get pushback because people don't want to talk about personal problems, however much you've got an open door situation like this. What I tend to do in that situation is to say that's fine. You've got no obligation to set out all your problems to me, but you do need to talk to your clerk about managing your workload. Just reduce it so that you've got some space. You need to think about planning some holidays, some time off, and you need to try and find somebody else outside chambers that you can talk to and share the kinds of stresses that you've got. I think it's really important that heads of chambers and practice managers and clerks and the heads of different practice groups in chambers, all the leading members, use the Wellbeing website to see the kind of guidance and experience that there is to deepen their understanding of wellbeing problems, but also to see how they can make a difference by supporting the members of chambers that they've got.